right. Get comfy on my floor. It is Wednesday already. Somehow. Alright. I know I'm feeling a little tense, so I'm just gonna do some breathing. You are welcome to do some breathing with me. Yeah, that's better. Much better. It's crazy how like that breathing thing, even taking just a couple breaths make a huge difference in how you feel. I know it makes a big difference in me. Like when I just sat down, like my shoulders were tight, and just breathing in through my belly really helps. And then it makes me wonder how much of my morning I spent not breathing through my belly or breathing like wholly. So anyways, it's Wednesday. It's April 1st, 2020. We made it through March. Woo! So beginning of another month. Random fact for you all that I learned, and now you're gonna, I don't know, benefit from some random factoid. So like the little hashtag symbol, also known as the pound symbol, the technical name for that is actually octothorpe. Yeah. So interestingly enough, like there's not a, I don't know, super spiffy way that came about. So that little, pound sign. So like way back when, like 14th century in Latin, they started to abbreviate pound, like by weight, with like the LB. And as people just kind of like kept writing faster and faster and sloppier, it kind of evolved into this hashtaggy or hash or hatched looking kind of thing, and nobody really knew what it was called. Like it didn't have a name. And then, as theory, rumor, whatever has it, in like the 1970s, making computers and computer keyboards, these employees from Bell named it Octothorpe, theory being that it has like 8 points. So that's how that came to be, and nobody uses the real term, probably because nobody really knows it until today, and so whatever. Anyways, lovely little random fact for you for this lovely Wednesday, April 1st. All right, so let's get started. Today's recovery check-in. I hope y'all are doing well. I know, we're kind of a couple weeks into this at this point, and things are always continuing to change and evolve and whatnot. So, if you're trying to limit your social media exposure, but you still want to get access to good information, you can either follow a couple specific pages like the health department or the City of Findlay, Hancock County pages. You can also really look at hancockhelps.org. We update that all the time. So stay tuned for that. All right, so today's my gratitude moment for today, because again, I really truly believe all days should start with gratitude. I'm pretty sure I just found mashed potatoes on my floor. Sorry, that was a wee bit distracting. So gratitude. My gratitude moment for today is that I am grateful that one of my sisters is having the opportunity to connect to her children in ways that she wasn't able to prior. She's a mom of a couple young kids, and that's challenging and that's stressful. And she's got a stressful job. And she told me today, she's like, Ellyn, all those kind of random kisses that they give me and the random little I love yous just mean the world to me. And, so that's like a little ray of hope. That's a little ray of sunshine within this changing situation, because she now has the opportunity to work from home and can do that and be around her kids more and get those random little things. I know me, I spent part of the morning peeling stickers off of a piece of paper because my kid didn't think they should be there anymore while I was on a conference call. So, that was fun. But yeah, so I'm grateful for the opportunities that we're getting to connect in different ways that we would not have had if we didn't have this stay-at-home order in place. So that is a neat thing. I know I'm learning more about people than I probably would have, because I'm taking the time to have not just conversation, but really meaningful conversation, and that has been really cool. So moving on, random facts, gratitude, check. All right, so today's recovery check-in topic, I want to talk about creating calm and what that can be and what that looks like, and I don't know, maybe give y'all some ideas. We can kind of have some ideas together, but it's really, really important in recovery when you're embracing that recovery lifestyle to create calm for yourself. And so creating that calm internally, externally, and all those ways. So if you're someone, you're staying at home right now, whatever your situation might be, think about ways that you can create that external calm, that calm in your environment. And it can be little things, it can be big things, it can be what floats your boat. But be intentional about that. And that also, again, as usual, just requires that self-awareness of what do you find calming. Me, I need my kitchen counters relatively cleaned off. That's calming to me. So I can create that kind of calm. Right before I started this live post, there were literally colored pencils all over the floor, and I was like, I can't sit on the floor and there be these colored pencils. It's probably going to stress me out. So I created calm for myself by picking up those colored pencils, putting them back where they belong. So that might be rearranging your bedroom furniture into a different pattern so it feels more calming to you. Maybe it's adding something that smells nice, lavender or lemongrass or what have you, just something that smells comforting to you, adding that to your kitchen or the living space that you're spending a lot of time in. Part of creating calm for me when I'm at home is making a cup of coffee every morning, because that smell of coffee in my kitchen is very calming to me. So find those opportunities to create calm, create peace in your environment, whatever that might be. But also, as of the world, I know that it's not always possible to make calm in your environment, especially when you're living with other people who may or may not be helpful for you or your recovery journey. And so how can you create calm perhaps in an environment that's chaotic, or an environment that you don't feel like you have a lot of control over, or if, I don't know, maybe there's a young person watching this, and you maybe don't have that space to create that calm, chill space for you in your home. So how else can you do that? So there's a couple other things that you can do. And there's more than these couple. These are the couple that I have used and that I've talked to other people and that they've used. So one of them is to find a place outside of your house that feels grounding to you. It might be another building. It might be, maybe it's, I don't know, the corner of your street, where the two sidewalks meet. That rhymed. Maybe it's just somewhere outside, right outside your house. Maybe it's a spot in the flower bed. Maybe it's, a spot in the backyard. Whatever that might be for you. I know for me, growing up, I had a couple. The barn. There was a couple specific spots in our barn, because I grew up as a farm kid, so I had access to that. But I also, there was a particular tree that felt safe and felt grounding to me, that I would climb up into when I needed that calm. I needed to get out of the chaos of my house, or even the chaos of my head. So I climbed up in that tree. And then there was also a spot kind of like in the side yard, that there was like this little concrete pad. I don't know why it was there, but I would sit there and I would read, and that was my spot to be grounded, you know. So if you can't find that calm and can't create that calm in your home or in your house, look around in that near proximity to you. Like, where do you feel the safest? Where do you feel the most grounded? Where do you feel the most supported? Where is that spot that kind of calms your mind and your heart and your soul? Spot, you know, is there something that you can maybe add to it to help it be even more calming to you? You know, maybe it's a stack of really pretty colored stones, or maybe you get some stones and you paint them with inspirational messages and sunshine, and, you know, kind of the things that make your heart happy, and you put them there, so that way, you know, when you're visiting that spot, you can look at those, you can touch them, and you can feel them and read them and all that kind of stuff. So try to make that spot yours. Make that a place where you can feel grounded, where you can feel your most okay, whatever that might look like for you. And then, you know, but if that's not an option, like, how can you also make safety inside of yourself? We tend to be kind of our own worst critics in our lives, tend to be pretty hard on ourselves. And it's not a unique thing. It's a thing a lot of people deal with, and I don't know that a lot of people we actually talk about it. You know, so if inside of your head is not a safe place, let's think about a little bit how that can become safe for you, how that can become a more supportive environment for you to be, particularly if you're in a situation where your home or your house isn't going to be that calming place. How can you bring your mind calm? And so a lot of that can be with some grounding techniques. Grounding techniques being the things that make you kind of feel okay, that kind of get your brain to stop wigging out for a hot second. And we can totally break down the neuroscience of that, because I love that kind of stuff. But you know, when your brain perceives danger, real or not, when you perceive danger to yourself, it kind of activates those stress responses, and that's fight and flight and freeze and all those, and things get just tense and can get weird. And so those grounding exercises can help your brain kind of relax, be calm. And when you're calm, you can use more of the front part of your brain, which is where you solve problems and where you make rational decisions. So we kind of get in the other parts of the brain to like simmer down, so you can bring that all of your awesome problem solving skills kind of online. So some quick grounding things, again, kind of those comforting smells can kind of help your brain calm down. I'm a big fan, like I used to like wrap myself like burrito style in a blanket, because just that heavy kind of like that feeling of like a really tight hug felt really good to me. But when I couldn't be around a person that could hug me like that, I just wrapped myself really tight in a blanket. If you have pets, maybe petting an animal is grounding for you, and just like being present in that moment. There's tons of things that you can do. A lot of these grounding stuff is all to do with your senses. So your sense of sight and taste and touch and smell. I don't remember how many I just listed. I think I'm missing one. Hearing. Ooh, there we go. That's the fifth one. You know, so maybe it's you have a particular playlist. You know, so make a playlist for you that is calm, grounding, that has your jams on it and has your songs that make you feel better. You know, whether you're the kind of person that when you're angry or whatever, you need to listen. When you're sad, you need to listen to sad music. Whatever that is, whatever works for you is the point. So whether it's a playlist, something that smells comforting to you, you know what? Maybe you have a fuzzy pillow that you know, just that softness and that texture just kind of helps you calm down. Um, I'm a big fan of the 5 4 3 2 1 kind of things. So that's like going through your senses, and you look and you see, what are 5 things that I see right now? What are 4 things that I hear? And that requires you to be like really still. Like, so right now, like I can hear my clock ticking, my refrigerator humming, my coffee pot tick, like kind of doing its little like trickly thing, and I can hear the heating system kicking on. So 5 things you see, 4 things you hear, maybe 3 things you can touch, 2 things you smell, 1 thing you taste, and go down the list and repeat until you feel more calm. So find those grounding things, find those sensory based things, but also think of monologues that you have about yourself, and what can you do to challenge those. So if you have if you're constantly beating yourself up about something, what's the opposite? Like, so we talked about before, imagining that worst case scenario and then imagining a better case scenario. So again, like if you're thinking like this is never going to end, the opposite of that is, what, this is a moment in time, and this moment in time will end, like all moments in time do. This is a moment, reminding yourself that it is a moment. So that's one way you can kind of challenge those inner dialogues. But some other good safety is making that schedule, sticking with that regular kind of routine, getting up at a consistent time, having your meals at a consistent time, doing certain activities in the morning, certain activities in the afternoon, having some wind down time at night, going to bed at a consistent time. Creating that schedule, creating that routine can really help your brain know that your environment's predictable. And your brain really likes when things are predictable. So that schedule helps your brain kind of stay chill, and like as predictable as it maybe can be for you. And then also, part of that creating safety is also creating that calm, is creating calm in relationships. And, whether that is a friendship or a intimate relationship or whatever, being with other people. And that kind of calm requires communication. Communication's really hard. And we'll probably dive into this a little bit more in another recovery check-in, because it's a big one and it's an important one. So start with kind of like looking at your communication style. We are living in a time right now where we're in close proximity with other people, and communication is hard, and can be hard, and it's not always positive, and sometimes we can let our emotions and whatnot kind of get the better of us in our communication, and maybe we communicate in kind of a crappy way. I know I've done that. I'm not immune to that whatsoever. So a couple ways, just quick tips for communication is, to try to be assertive. And part of being assertive is being open and honest and accepting and responsible. All right. So sometimes I think people think of assertive communication as, using those I statements. I feel, I think, when blah, blah happens. But it's more, can be more of kind of how that communication happens. So when you're communicating assertively, you're being open, you're being honest about your feelings and where you are at. So it's an internally driven process, but honest about where you're at. Be direct. Be accepting of another person's point of view. That's the tough one, because within assertive communication, you may find that you are not correct. You may find that your viewpoint is not the only viewpoint, and you may not get what you want. So being accepting of that other person's responsibility, or other person's perceptions and their viewpoint, and then being responsible for your own feelings, for the outcomes, for your own words, your tone of voice, your body language, being responsible for that. And that is not always easy, but it is the challenge of people who want to show up as the best human beings that they can possibly be. That is the challenge, to be open and direct, honest, accepting, and responsible in your communication. And so I know that I don't always show up as the best human being. Like, I get tense, I get stressed, I get short. I sometimes let, my anxiety or my insecurity or my whatever get the best of me, and don't always communicate in a way that's positive, and don't always communicate in an assertive way. And sometimes I say things in a downright shitty way. And one thing that I have done that's helped me is I own that. So whether I realize that in the moment, whether I realize that a couple hours later, or even the next day, whoever I was having that communication with, and I say, hey, upon reflection, I did not show up as the best person that I could have, and I did not communicate in the way that best represents me. And I would like the chance to reword that statement that I made to you. And I reword it. And I say it differently. Because that lets me practice it. And the more that I practice it, the better that I get at assertive communication. I have even walked out of somewhere, walked out the door, took a deep breath, walked back in, and reset. I was like, okay, so this is what I was trying to say, that I didn't come out in the right way. Having that do-over, having that, I call it a reset, restart. That has been a powerful tool for me to own that, go back, reword it, practice those skills, practice being open and honest and direct, taking responsibility that I didn't communicate in the best way that I could have, that I have better words to use, or better body language, or a better tone of voice, and I didn't. And, that has allowed me not only to practice those skills, but also show people, kind of how I want to be treated, and how I would like to have people communicate with me. Because, we all come from different backgrounds, and we all come from different places. And sometimes someone's maybe never seen what assertive communication can look like. So just some little nuggets for you. So think about the ways in your life you can create calm in your environment, within yourself, and within your relationships. I'd love to get a message from y'all about how you are doing that in your life, or leave a comment here. Or if you're like, hey, I need some help with this, reach out. So you can call Focus. Answer the phones 10 to 7. So our number is 419-423-5071. And you can message us on our Facebook page, and we'll definitely respond back. Or feel free to send us an email. So we would love to hear from you. I want you to know that y'all matter to me. And until tomorrow, as always, keep your hearts and minds resilient. Be there for one another. Share some love, share some kindness. And I will see you guys tomorrow on Thursday for our noon recovery check-in. All right, see you tomorrow.